Hey guys, Natalia Schneimler here. I help boy moms have a better relationship with their sons and themselves by teaching them the tools how to manage their mind so that when anything comes up in life, they know exactly how to take care of themselves and their kids. Hey guys, how are you? How's your week going? How's your Christmas preparations? Do you have your tree up? Do you celebrate Christmas? Maybe not all of you do, I guess. We have a tree up. We're actually buying a new table. We actually bought a new table, a bigger table, because we have a big family, but we've always had a small table, and it's been bothering me every single time people come over. We just didn't have enough space. It was too crowded. So I'm really happy we got a big table. And last night, my husband and I went chair shopping, and we had the best time. He doesn't love shopping. He only does it for me. And I had the best time. I was laughing so hard at him and his reactions. And I realized that you can get your husband to do whatever you want. And the only way to do that is if you really enjoy yourself. So he just wants to be with me, around me. If he sees me happy, he'll do anything for that. So whatever you want to do, just be happy and ask him nicely, right? And be okay with him not doing it. But this is the recipe that I found works every time. I just need to be really happy and enjoy whatever it is that I want us to do together, and it's the done deal. So anyway, that's my own conclusion. So I want to tell you this story about the microwave on the front porch, and I'll tell you why. The main takeaway I want you to, let me tell you the story first. So last week, one of my boys was homesick for a whole week almost. And one day, middle of the day, I was lying down with him and we were watching a little Christmas movie together. And I heard these footsteps on the front porch, as we normally do. And it's, mailman or delivery. And I thought, okay, well, maybe delivery. But then a few minutes later, I hear footsteps again, which is strange. And so I go out and peek out, and I see that there's a microwave plugged in to the outlet outside our front door on the front porch. And I think, what the heck? Why is there a microwave outside plugged into our house? So I look out and I see these construction workers from next door that they are waiting in their car. And this is what I figure out what's happening is that they plugged it in to warm up their lunch. So, at that moment, I thought, so they must need, their lunch warmed up. They didn't ring the doorbell. They didn't ask if they can use the outlet. And I think, even if they ask me, I would say yes, because, obviously they need their lunch warm and I don't mind. So I really thought it was funny in my head because it was so surprising. Like, it's just such a random thing to have a microwave on your front porch. And, I thought it was a lot of effort that they went through to bring a microwave from their house or from somewhere to warm up their lunch. That's a lot of effort. So I wanted to support them in that. And so recently, my two big boys have been reading these books about Buddhist stories by Ajahn Brahm, which you've heard me talk about before. This little Buddhist monk in Australia, this British guy. And these stories are hilarious and the best. And I'm actually going to put links to these books online. They are awesome. I love rereading them. My boys are loving them. They're really good for kids, like bigger kids. And I just love them. So since my boys were reading them for the first time, we were talking about the stories and they just gulped them up in 2 days. They read one book, a second book, and we, end up talking about Buddhist ways and Buddhist way of reacting and thinking. And so this was front of mind for me to think in the Buddhist way, which is, be kind, be loving. And so I thought that, I have two choices here. I could be upset about it, that they didn't ask to use, the outlet. They didn't even knock to see if anyone was home, and I could, have a confrontation with them. Or I could help them out and just let them do their thing, which felt really good. And I didn't even need to go out and tell them, you can use it. I just kind of felt like, you know what, this is my choice. I'm going to help them, and I feel good about it, which was the Buddhist way. So, I was pretty happy with that reaction. I was pretty proud of myself that I actually was able to access that. And I tend to do that. It's easier for me to do that with strangers for some reason than with my kids, because with my kids, I guess I want them to be independent. Anyway, that's funny. So when I told a few people about what had happened, most of people's reaction was, oh my gosh, that is stealing. That is so rude. They shouldn't have done that. They didn't even ask. You should go out there and tell them. And it's surprising to me how many people first reaction that would be to confront them and to tell them, you can't, or maybe even if you would go out and tell them, what are you doing? But then you would still allow them to use it, right? So what is the point in that? And I wanted to share the story with you to remind you that there's always a choice. And one is going to feel good, and the other one, actually, the one where you have a confrontation, is also actually going to feel good, but not in the same way. Confronting someone, being right, also feels good to us, but it doesn't feel as good as being generous and abundant, and it's very different than. You have to give up being right in this situation and have to give up feeling good about it and just let go. That is harder. That feeling is harder, but I think it is more rewarding, and because it is harder. It's much easier to confront and let them have it and feel really good about yourself, but you're still I feel like you're still not doing the good thing. I feel like you're kind of stooping down to their level and you're fighting, Don't do that. So there's a story in the book that Ajahn Brahm shares where there was a robber who broke into the monastery and was trying to steal stuff. And he saw him, and he saw that the robber was extremely skinny. So the monk offered him food. And the monk, of course, was completely surprised and caught off guard because he was trying to steal stuff from the monastery. So the monk said, you look like you need it. Is there anything else I can get you? And so wouldn't that be amazing, right, for us to react that way to other people's needs, even if they're doing something that's not good, right, quote unquote, if they're stealing, right, you can have such a abundant, generous reaction where you help them and you don't get mad at them for making a mistake, for stealing. And of course, I'm not a saint. I'm not always going to react in that way. If that day I was feeling good, I was enjoying a snuggle with my son on the couch. I felt like I have lots of time. Like I was taken care of. I had a good moment. So I was able to reach that reaction. But of course, I'm not always going to be able to do that. And I want you to remember that we're not always going to be have access to such an amazing reaction. So it's okay for us to react in any kind of way, but you can always just remember in the back of your mind that you always have a choice. Always have a choice in how you react to these things. And if you can, pick a better feeling choice. And being right is kind of engaging in a fight because you make the other person wrong. But what if you were both right? What if you were on their side and you were there to help them, right? That would feel a lot better and a lot harder, I think, for a lot of us. So I wanted to share that story with you because I think it doesn't happen to everyone, a microwave on a front porch, but it does happen where people do things that you don't approve of, but maybe they just need help. So why are they doing that? Get curious, right? So that's kind of what I did when I saw the microwave. I thought, wow, that's a lot of effort, to do that, to warm up their lunch. Whereas 1 block away, we have Tim Hortons, which is like a little cafe. You can buy any sort of food here or there. It's not that expensive. So for them to bring a microwave over going to that little cafe, that's pretty impressive. They must really want their warmed up lunch, right? So I'm going to help them with that. So remember that you have a choice, and you have a choice in any relationship with a stranger, with your husband, with your kids, and see how all of the reactions feel and pick the one that feels the best. And you know what? I don't want you to feel guilty over choosing to be right, because being right feels good. And a lot of the times, that feeling good feeling is actually a step up from some other feelings like apathy, anger, depression, right? They're feeling righteous, feeling good about that, trying to protect your opinion is not a bad thing on its own, but it is a relief sometimes from feeling even worse. It's just that I want you to be aware that there's even a better feeling option above that is letting go of the idea that there's a right and a wrong, and just helping someone and being on their side. And that kind of includes forgiving them for what they've done right away, forgiving yourself for maybe doing the same thing at some other time. That is a big ask, and I'm not asking you to do that. I want you to be aware of that reaction, that it's there. And one day you can achieve it. Like I wasn't going to hold it against myself if I wasn't able to do it. And I was happy that I was able to react in that way because it was easy, right? I wasn't giving up that much. It was just a little bit of electricity. And, in my head, I want to help my neighbor. But a lot of people that I told this story to wanted to make things right and go and talk to them. So if you are struggling in helping your children, your husband, and, struggling fighting with them, you can always come get coached and make that relationship super, super amazing, where you can always help them and always be on their side. And I can help you with that. You can always go to www.coachingnatalia.com and I will help you. You can tell me everything that's bothering you, okay? And go sign up for a free mini session and I will talk to you then. Okay, guys, love you all so much. Have a great day.